My name is Clara. I'm 28 years old, and I spend most of my days running a cozy little bookstore in a peaceful seaside town. Every morning starts the same. I brew a cup of tea, unlock the shop by 9, and wait for the world to wake up. When no customers come in, I read. Books are my comfort. I live alone in a modest apartment right above the store. My family is in another city, and although I don't see them often, I make sure to call my mother every weekend. My life is quiet and uneventful. I don't have many friends, nor do I long for them. I've built a small world around me, made of stories, and I feel safe inside it. But all of that changed one cold, rainy afternoon in late October. The sky was heavy with clouds, and the rain whispered against the windows as I sat behind the counter, lost in a novel. The street outside was deserted, until I saw him. Across the road stood a man in a long dark coat. He held an old umbrella and didn't move, just stared straight at the bookstore. At me. His presence stirred something inside me. I didn't know him, yet there was a strange sense of familiarity. I blinked, and a passing car blocked my view. When it had gone, so had he. That night, sleep refused to come. My thoughts kept circling back to the man in the rain. Who was he? Why had he seemed so known? The following day, I followed my usual routine, but I kept glancing out the window, and at exactly 3 p.m., he appeared again. Same spot, same coat, same silent stare. My chest tightened. I wanted to confront him, to ask why he was watching me, but I couldn't move, and just like before, he disappeared. He came again the next day, and the next. For 5 days, he returned each afternoon as the rain fell. He never entered the store, never spoke, just stood and watched. On the 5th day, I couldn't take it anymore. As soon as I saw him, I rushed outside. The moment I stepped onto the street, he turned and walked away. I followed. He moved faster. We turned down a narrow alley, but when I reached it, he was gone. The space was empty. No doors, no windows, no way he could have vanished so quickly. That night, I dreamt of the sea. I stood by the crashing waves, cold rain falling around me. The man stood just a few steps away, looking at me gently. Then he smiled and said my name. Clara! His voice was calm and deep, like it had spoken to me before. I jolted awake, heart racing. The next day at the store, I dropped books, gave wrong change, and burned my tea. My thoughts were elsewhere. I kept waiting for him to return, but for the first time in days, he didn't. A week passed, no rain, no sign of him. I should have felt relief, but instead, I felt an odd emptiness. Then, on a quiet Sunday night, the rain returned. I sat at my window, watching the raindrops glisten under the street lamps. That's when I saw him again, standing beneath the light, looking up at me. He didn't move, just watched me come closer. "Hello, Clara," he said softly. His voice sent a shiver through me. It was the voice from my dream. I whispered, "Who are you?" His expression turned sad. "I've been waiting. But I don't even know you." He looked at me like he knew every part of my soul. "You do." Then he reached into his coat and handed me a photograph. I stared at it. My heart nearly stopped. It was me. I looked younger, my hair was longer, and I wore clothes from another time. And standing beside me was him. I flipped the photo over. On the back, written in old ink, was a date. 1923. "No, this isn't possible," I murmured. "You may not remember," he said, "but I do." My hands trembled. I felt lightheaded. I don't understand." He reached out and touched my hand. Despite the cold, his fingers were warm. "You will," he said, and then, just like before, he vanished. I stood there in the pouring rain, holding the photo. I wasn't even alive in 1923, but the woman in the picture was unmistakably me. Back in my apartment, I stared at the photograph for hours. I felt strange, unsettled. Then, out of nowhere, visions came to me, memories that didn't feel like mine. A garden, the sea, a stone bench, and his voice calling out to me, "Clara, wait for me." I opened my eyes, breathless. What was happening to me? Days passed, and he didn't return. The skies cleared, but I couldn't escape the feeling that something was missing. I had to find answers. One evening I took the photograph and wandered through town, letting my heart guide me. After some time, I found myself by the sea. The waves whispered under a silver sky. Then I saw it. An old, forgotten garden near the cliffs. A stone bench stood in the centre, my breath caught in my throat. This was the place from my dream. I stepped closer and touched the bench. The moment I did, a whisper floated in the wind. "Clara!" I turned, and he was there, watching me, just a few steps away. "You're real," I said. He smiled. "I told you." Tears welled up in my eyes. "Who are you?" "You once loved me," he said, "a long time ago. I don't remember." He took my hand, and as soon as our skin met, the past returned like a flood. I saw everything. His name was Elias. We met right here in this very town, almost a century ago. We were young and deeply in love. This garden had been our secret escape. He had promised to marry me. But one stormy night he never came back. An accident took him away, and I waited my entire life, growing old alone, clinging to memories. I gasped, pulling away in shock, my tears falling freely. "It's really you," I whispered. He nodded. "I found you again." But deep down I knew this moment was all we had. The next morning I woke to sunlight pouring through my window. For a second I wondered if I had only dreamed it all. Until I saw the photograph on my nightstand, and beneath the date 1923, new words were written in faint, faded ink. "I will always find you." Tears blurred my vision, but a soft smile touched my lips, because somehow, somewhere, I knew he would.